I'm Chaotic Witch Hunt. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a fun video. I think that I'm going to make this into a series, but I wanted to talk today about herbal allies, plant allies, and some of my biggest plant allies, as well as what they are used for. And this will open into a greater conversation of like what plants are good for which spells. If you're interested in hearing me talk a little bit more on how to work with animals and plants as allies, not just as tools, I have a whole YouTube video, one of these sides, that I will link as a card. I got a mushroom mug. Also, I want everyone to appreciate this. It's my new favorite mug. Enamel, mushrooms, delicious. I've used it for like 3 days straight. I do wash it. I'm just, but in the morning I'm like, I wash my mug, I use it. Okay, let's get into it. So I have a couple herbs that I am working on like forming relationships with, and then a couple herbs that I love and I use very frequently. We're gonna grab some supplies. Is my desk a mess? Yeah, obviously. But once again, we're not gonna talk about that. All right, I do have some plants, like non-dried plants, that are herbal allies for me as well. So for me, herbal allies and plant allies kind of take the form of plants that I tend to work with a lot in my witch work, my spell work, witch work, whatever. I typically, you know, will prioritize them as being used instead of like using another plant. I forgot some, there's some in my closet. Hold on. And so I'll talk a little bit about some of my relationships with these plants, what good associations they are, and what it was like forming a relationship with them. These are plants that are typically pretty important in Italian folk magic. If you're interested in Italian folk magic, Italian herbalism, and ancestral herbalism, I highly recommend the Root Circle. They do classes called Della Medicina to help you connect with your ancestral plant allies, and for me, that was really great. There are other ways you can do that as well if you know your ancestral plant allies. Not all the plants I work with are ancestral plant allies, but I did get these as part of the Root Circle process. These are little herbal extracts. They're each different. Flower, there's a rue flower essence, a mugwort essence elixir, and an herbal extract of rosemary. Those are all different. So that's the fun thing about like herbs, is there's so many different ways to extract them. I am not an herbalist, but if you're interested, herbalism certificates are really fun and easy. Not easy, it's like 1,600 hours of work. But herbalism is something that I am interested in. I want to get my certificate. I probably will do that soon, hopefully. Hoping. I want to do it. I'm gonna do it. Ish. But I got these. Lisa Fazio, who is the owner of the Root Circle, the one who teaches the classes, is an herbalist. And that's how she made these tinctures. So we have rosemary, mugwort, and rue, which are 3 important herbs to Italian folk magic. Son of a bitch. And for me, each of them have a very different vibe. So for this class, we did ingest the elixirs, which you don't have to do. You can also put them on your skin. Out of these 3, I would say rosemary and mugwort are most known. Rosemary, typically used for protection, has associations with memory. Rosemary is the sweetest plant that I've ever interacted with. So motherly. I do think it's because I associate her with Saint Mary. Mugwort is one that we see talked a lot about online in witch circles. I do believe mugwort is prohibited in some US states, something to keep in mind. As well as that, mugwort is good for divination. Protection is one that I think I see a lot. Mugwort has a lot of different uses. Lucid dreaming. I typically use mugwort to help me confront some shadow work. It is tied very heavily to Diana. So if I want to talk to Diana, I light some mugwort and do a divination session. I felt closer to her this way than I did this way. I think rosemary is the Saint Mary herb because I work with both Saint Mary and Diana. Rosemary is Saint Mary herb, very warm, sun associations, motherly. Mugwort is the Diana herb, very much associated with the moon, sometimes Hecate. These are my personal associations, but they are associations that I have from building a relationship with the plant. Yours may be completely different. And then we have good old rue. I have 3 ways that I use rue here. I have some agua de ruda, some rue water. I have some cologne ruda, rue cologne. And then I have this little herbal tincture that I didn't get a chance to take. I also have a smoke bundle of rue in this bag along with mugwort. I keep a jar of rue on my altar as well. So I love rue. Rue is a very hardcore protection and banishing herb. Rue is one of those herbs that you will see it listed as a baneful ingredient as well as a protective ingredient. It's great for hexes, curses, jinxes, as well as breaking those hexes, curses, and jinxes. I use rue water to clean things, altar spaces, doors. I may put a little rue cologne on if I feel like I need a little, like a bop of protection that day. I typically do not smoke cleanse with rue unless it is truly 100% necessary. Like I feel like I need to banish things, I need to do a full bleach cleansing of a space and get rid of as much spiritual energy as I can. And the reason that I don't usually smoke cleanse with rue is that it is very stinky when burnt. There's a reason that it's associated with these things because it smells like the rue cologne, I think, is it kind of it packs a punch. Oh god, I usually don't react that way. I think I just sniffed a little too close. I got tears in my eyes. So smoke cleansing with it is going to, in my experience, permeate the entire house. I see rue as a very powerful herb and a very powerful ally. If I ask for rue's help on something, she will deliver. If I ask for rue's help on banishing a spirit, protecting a house, etc., she will help. She's probably the biggest ally and the one that I use most frequently. I love rue. I love using her in simmer pots. I love cleaning with her. I like putting her on me. My favorite, absolutely my favorite. I associate her with that power because she smells so strong. Sometimes like skunk, like weed. My mom's like, are you smoking weed? And I'm like, no, it's just rue. It's a very powerful smell. The agua de ruda is a little less potent. I hope to grow rue one day. I think that it would be wonderful to keep her and plant her in the front of the house. Fantastic. A few herbs that I'm starting to work with, starting to form a relationship with a lot. Angelica root and hydrangea root I already have a relationship with. So Angelica root is one. It is very good. It kind of looks like little oats. That's Angelica. Angelica, I believe, typically used for uncrossings, open roads, bringing in good abundance and luck. I'm gonna double check that before we finish this video. And then hydrangea root. So if you weren't aware, at my old house, we had hydrangeas that were across the front of our porch. And hydrangeas are very much known, like folk-wise, for protection. I love hydrangea. I've worked with hydrangea a lot in hex breaking. Very good for hex breaking. She's my bitch when it comes to hex breaking. She'll take care of it for me. Hydrangea root, also really great for hex breaking. A lot of the things and a lot of the herbs I use are like protection, reversal, hex breaking. Angelica, hydrangea. I did get some calamus root. I don't work with mint as an ally, but she's around. Thyme is one that I'm interested in working with because thyme apparently, like money-wise, chef's kiss. My newest, oh no, I've had her for a while. So this is my Resurrection Rose, or my Rose of Jericho. I do money workings with her and abundance workings with her whenever I am working towards a specific monetary goal, or I need some help bringing in something monetarily, or I just feel like something needs to be solidified, an opportunity. I will open her up. I typically will open her with my tarot readings. I will open her with my, like, any kind of monetary drops I have, and I do love the Resurrection Rose. I think she's absolutely wonderful. She has never let me down. Never done anything to let me down. It's a baby. She is the baby. I believe culturally the Resurrection Rose in some cultures is also used for fertility. but I am unsure. I know that the Rose of Jericho is used a lot throughout different cultures and different traditions, which is important to note. My newest ally that I've been working with, Belladonna. This is my Belladonna ointment from Banefolk. So, quick disclaimer, Belladonna is poisonous. Just letting y'all know. Like, don't eat it. Consume it. And even handling it, you have to be really, really careful with it. All poisonous plants and the poison path and all this kind of like working with nightshades, you have to be very, very careful and really look at, okay, which plant is poisonous in which situations. I think I have some belladonna seeds too that I was going to try and plant. So this belladonna ointment was by Banefolk. It is one that is applied topically. I use it most nights to help me go to sleep, and very obviously, if you go to Banefolk's website, there is a huge amount of botanical safety info, like this is what you shouldn't do if you have these medications, you shouldn't do this. This is what to do if you're feeling side effects. Every single one of them has a safety info. They have a belladonna one, mandrake, solanaceae, datura. I did order the artemisia one because artemisia, similar to mugwort, that entire family is one that I work very closely with. This is what it looks like. You can tell I've been like digging it out a bit to put on my body. I use this stuff for sleep and for chronic pain. Belladonna has been the most helpful with this, right next to my solanaceae ointment, but I tend to choose belladonna a lot. Mandrake, mandrake I work with in very specific situations. Tried mandrake, and mandrake I think is the kind of herb that's like, know your plan and stick with it, and if you don't know what you're gonna do, But anyways, starting to work with belladonna safely. That's the most important part. If you're gonna work with any nightshade poisonous plant, you need to be aware of safety. Like, if you're using it in spells, you should be wearing gloves. That's the level of safety we're talking about. If you put the ointment on, you wash your hands after, and you wash them good. You don't put it anywhere near your mouth, eyes, nose, or other parts that it could enter your body. Another fun little herb I love using, Hysep or Hysep. I think it's Hysep, but I'm not sure. Hysep and bay leaves are also two plants that I traditionally use for cleansing and purification. I'm starting to form a relationship with them. It's slow because I've been using bay leaves forever. Hysep's new. So this kind of stuff takes time. There are other plants that I use in spells that I don't necessarily have a working relationship with, and that's not necessarily bad. I think that it's better to have a working relationship with a few plants that you feel very close to, rather than just having a relationship with a bunch of plants and then not treating any of them well. My three major allies, Rosemary, Rue, and Mugwort, are always on my altar space. As well as that, I have added Angelica and Hydrangea to my altar space to start honoring them and working with them. And then I have a couple in-house plants that I love. Ivy was incredibly helpful during my money spell. Or no, my Red Devil run, I think, to promote growth. Because Ivy grows like a motherfucker. I just had to repot her because she's getting so big. A few other plants I tend to work with pretty heavily. I work with my prayer plant pretty heavily. And for her, it's not necessarily using her in spells. It's praying with her. It's taking care of her. It's honoring her in our relationship. I'll show you my prayer plant. My Maranta. That's my baby. She's got some new leaves. This one here and this one here are brand new. And then she's got two more little sprouts coming out. Apparently it's a flex to have like a prayer plant do this well, but I don't think so. They're very, high maintenance plants, but also if you treat them well, you pay attention to them, she'll pay attention to you and she'll take care of you and she'll be happy. So yeah, as you can see, her oldest leaves, I think, are the darkest ones, and they are down here, here, and here. I think those were her oldest ones. Newer ones have a little bit lighter. We got some mid, and then the newest ones are a little light. So this is a Maranta. I hope to get more prayer plants when I can. Right now, it's a little difficult. And that's just due to the fact that they are, a lot of work. I run a humidifier in my room because I have like a lot of tropicals or tropical plants that really like that humidity. I also have a begonia that I just got that is throwing a tantrum, but we'll figure it out. I think she's gonna be fine. I hope. I tend to be the plant owner that And even my partner knows this. He knows this. He's like, you like a challenge. And I'm like, yeah. So I have a fern, a prayer plant, and a begonia. Those are my personal kind of most used herbs and what they're associated with. I would very much like to make more videos on like herbs and their associations and the things important to them. So let me know what kind of herbs you want to see. If you're like, hey, I would love to see some reversal herbs, or I'd love to see banishing herbs, or I'd love to see protective herbs. If you want, I can also do a whole video dedicated to herbs you can find at the grocery store. My favorite topic. And what they're used for. To end off this video, we're getting on to a serious note, but with the draft leaked, with the possible overturning of Roe v. Wade, I want to encourage everyone to look into the abortion funds that I am linking in my description of the video. And as well as that, be really careful of where you get your information from, especially when it comes to herbal abortives. On TikTok especially, I've seen a lot of videos that are contributing to really dangerous and harmful information, saying that if you just drink like a cup of mugwort tea, it'll get rid of your problem, or taking pennyroyal oil is a problem. This is really dangerous because not only is pennyroyal a neurotoxin, and like that oil, and consuming that oil will lead to liver and kidney failure before it leads to a miscarriage or abortion. The herbal abortives and the information about herbal abortives needs to come from doctors and herbalists, not people on TikTok, not even me. I'm not educated to give you that information, nor would I, because I understand how easy it is for a mistake to be made. Human error is a thing. Furthermore, I have been looking into resources, networks, herbal, like abortion funds like the Bridget Alliance, Haven Coalition, Yellowhammer Fund, that help with the cost of abortion, even transportation, for you to have access to a safe abortion. There are online resources such as Hey Jane and 8 Access, which are only in certain states, but they do offer a less costly online method of receiving a safe abortion medication. I would really encourage you to look into these abortion funds and consider that those are the things that we should be boosting and looking at right now, instead of starting to give harmful information that could really hurt someone. And I say that because I have seen a lot of that really harmful information being spread. It's very much recklessness and very much could end up with someone in the hospital in a situation where they could be they could be fined, in a situation where they die. Especially in the states where it may become illegal if Roe v. Wade is overturned. It's a really dangerous method. If you don't have anyone with you and you're afraid to go to the hospital, you could very easily die or suffer really immense side effects. And even if you do go to the hospital, a lot of hospitals really aren't equipped to deal with the kind of toxicity that these herbs bring, especially pennyroyal. There is no antidote. I'm linking a lot of those abortion funds below. I really, really recommend you to look into these abortion funds, the National Network of Abortion Funds, to look and see how you can support abortion funds near you, instead of looking to the internet for really dangerous methods. There are safe options that you can utilize. That is really important, and since we're talking about herbs, I felt like this would go along perfectly. That's something that's very important to me. I am pro-choice. I will always continue to be pro-choice as someone with a uterus. It's okay, you know, if you disagree, you don't have to agree with everything I say, but that is a message for everyone who is following me, is this account, and I will continue to remain in favor of providing safe abortion to everyone and making sure everyone has the resources they need to make that decision. That is the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching all of it and sticking around. Check out the link in the description, leave a comment. If you want, you can like, subscribe, turn the bell on, but no pressure. Stay safe. I love you. Sa benedica.